Hey guys, what's up? Time for 15 plus 10. And we have opponent Kaksa777777 from Georgia. Georgia flag looks very similar to England. Okay, and they've started with the Réti opening. So how can we tilt this towards what we know? I mean, the standard thing is to bring out this knight. I can also just bring out this other knight, you see, because if he now plays e4, we play e5, and we're back to where we know. So, let's try and just tilt it. So yeah, the Georgia flag has little crosses, I think, little black crosses in each of the white. But whoa, okay. Interesting. Right, now I can play e5. So this is now as though, like some kind of weird English. E5 is playable. It's attacked by the knight but defended by my knight. The question is, can he assault my knight? Well, he can't with his light squared bishop. So I think e5 makes a lot of sense here. My general idea now would be to get this bishop out now that I've made a start on building a dark squared pawn chain. Bishop here, d6, yeah? If I was playing blitz, that's what I would do straight away. A four knights approach is not ridiculous. Let's bring out the knights before bishops. I do want to play this move because I'd like to add a second defender to this pawn, which could then free up my knight if I need to. But I think the bishop definitely belongs on this c5 square. Okay, it looks like he's going to fianchetto, so I'm going to play this. I'm going to play d6, I'm going to castle. Probably bring out my light squared bishop and then put the queen behind it, something like that. Okay, let's play d6. Now he could, for example, move this knight something like here and then want to eliminate my knight. That doesn't bother me. I recapture the b pawn towards the center. This is all good. So this is now all very standard, apart from my opponent's made no move to dominate the center with his pawns, and I disapprove of this. Okay, now we can castle. We can develop the light squared bishop. I mean, this is one idea because it targets that pawn. This is another idea. It might prompt him to push h3. Is he going to push h3? Or do we just do this and keep our options open? I think this is all right. He'll probably defend with a pawn. Don't see how else he can defend other than by moving the queen to b3, sorry. Which, I mean, queen b3 is a move. Then I'll probably do this. Need to be careful about my knight, because my knight's defended only by the b pawn right now. I also have this idea. So I had a right good sleep last night. Went to bed like 9 p.m. when it's already been dark for 4 hours. And yeah, I had a jolly good sleep, so feeling a bit sparkier today. Played a handful of blitz games on the tablet this morning. Okay, so we have b3, pawn to b3. So he's chosen not to develop his queen at this point. Have to notice that this bishop is lined up with this undefended pawn. So, question, yes, we could castle now, right? I could develop my queen. I could castle that way. I could develop my queen and castle this way. The queen has to come out first. Developing queen is not a bad idea. I'm kind of inclined to keep my options open. I think long castles is not necessarily a bad idea, because anytime they've got this fianchetto position, I think, Harry's name is first on the team sheet there. I'm okay with this move. He could think about putting pressure on my bishop now. Would lose this pawn. Maybe I could think about, a6, bishop a7, drop it right back. Notice that we've got this pawn pinned already from the off, and I like that. That's an asset that we have. Still, his central pawns are at home. But it does give him options later on for breaks as well, you see. Particularly, I think, on the d file, not so much the e5. I mean, where's that? That's not going to help his case at all, actually, e4. Okay, does he want a piece of my bish? Now, it stops me going in there and trading off, eh? But part of me is kind of inclined to kick the knight. But is that a waste of a move? I mean, does he want to take my bishop anyway? Could stick the bishop here and keep it on the board. Could stick the bishop here. Kicks, retreats, kicks, retreats. Also, this is a discovery against this knight, which doesn't concern me at all. I'm going to play this. I'm going to keep the bishop on for now, because I've got this like dark squared pawn chain. He's also put his pawns on dark squares, which weakens his light squares. So I think I'm, inclined to get the bishop out of harm's way and then kick the knight back, and then it's my turn. And then we're probably looking at long castles. Just always need to be very cognizant of this diagonal potential threats down there. There's a nice square though. Drops the pawn. But if I castle, the king defends the b pawn. That's quite good. So there's 88 points difference here. This is a 6-10 game. I lose 10 points if he beats me. Oh, look at what we have. Right, we have e4. And I'm not the biggest fan of this move. All right, yeah, it kicks my bishop back. Now, I could drop back to here. But then he'd probably eliminate my bishop. That's not the end of the world. He's not thinking, he can't play that. I've got everything. I've got 3 pieces lined up against that square. So d4 is just unfeasible right now. I have 2 attackers on this pawn. He actually has 3 defenders. So, one option is to come back here. Then if he takes me, probably f takes, get castled, that's okay. Another option is to counterattack the knight and ignore the threat on the bishop, because this pawn will then be vulnerable if it takes, yeah? So I do this, he takes, I take, and we've opened up the h-file. I like that idea. I do like that idea. Let's do that. Thinking about, at some point wanting to checkmate my opponent's king. Now, if he retreats, I can retreat as well, or, in fact, more likely, slot it into h3, trade it off with this guy, and then Gary and Harry and co, with their supporting heavy guns, can go after that bugger right there. Interesting. This one we did not expect. This is a desperado. So he's saying to me, okay, you capture the queen, I get the bishop, and I've won the f-pawn. Now, I don't care about the f-pawn. As everybody knows, Freddie is my least favourite child. Now, I could take with the queen, right? But then he takes the bishop for free. I could take with the king. Then when he takes bishop, I take the pawn back, and we haven't lost a pawn. Then my rook can come over, my king can find its way back to safety. Yeah, it's a bit slower, it costs me time. Or I could drop my bishop in here, threatening to take the bishop, threatening to take the rook. How does that work? Drop the bishop in here. Now he could then take another pawn and then take the bishop. I don't like that. So let's take the king. Still with this idea. Okay, so we take back now with the queen. I'm not worried about this still, because my aspirations of castling are non-existent. So this is the English opening 4 knights kingside fianchetto line. Trips off the tongue. So what he needs to do now is prove that my king is going to be a vulnerability. This is maybe a move. His bishop and his knight are looking at that square. My idea is going to be, I think, to use my pawns. Having said that, my king is kind of slightly offside on the king side right now. Bishop here is possible. Just pinning the knight, but again, super slow. The knight still has that square. That's not a bad square at all. And knight here? No, it's attacked twice there. That's no good. Okay. My hunch is activate this rook. And I'm thinking maybe f8 is the place to go. The only reason being I have no f-pawn. And then just like, you know, something being slow is not necessarily a bad thing. So, you know, hiding my king over there, spending moves moving my king is time well spent if it saves my king. Because as everybody knows, losing your king is generally very bad in chess because you lose. And he doesn't want this. But I'm also loving the fact that I've got, you know, maybe activity down the H file as well. So I think I'm going to send Harry off to his death. Unless white plays h4, which is definitely possible. But then my knight comes in unopposed. This pawn, remember, is still pinned. This pawn's here, yeah. Or g5 then h5. See, if I play g5 first, if I play this, well, in fact I can do it either way though, can't I? For h5, h4, g5, tension. Takes, queen takes. This is all right, and then we push on and it's goodbye bishop. There's a thought. Can't do too much forecasting in your mind. You know, this is where we're really exercising the muscles. You know, when your opponent makes a move and you go, oh, okay, what's the best move? That's one level. But yeah, there's all this time that's being spent. Well, what? Okay, all this time that's being spent while my opponent's thinking, I could be thinking of plans and ideas and strategies. Okay, what on earth is he on about with this? Is he wanting to play d4? I don't approve of that. I would like to get my king to safety. The question is, what is more critical? Do we push Harry, for example, now? Threaten this. Is the king in imminent danger? Well, I'm not a big fan of this move. It has to be said. So I'm going to be patient. I'm going to try and make the case that actually my position is not so bad at all. And that it's really that king that should be worried. My king has plenty of security down in this corner. Yeah, the bishop could take out this knight at any point. I could stick my king here. I'm not worried about getting pinned. But maybe just get the king down there. I don't know. King here. Move the knight back round here to defend b7. King here, knight here, defends that pawn. King and then come back and take over the babysitting duty. And this knight can then jump into the centre, back towards the centre, and join in the fray. So that's 1, 2, 3, yeah? And it's all good. We aren't losing. This pawn is pinned. Harry's got bloodlust. I'm at 1540 in rapid now. My highest is still at 1670. I just had a couple of days where I just couldn't lose. You ever had those times? An opponent is now chewing up his time a bit. His last 3 moves have been over a minute. And what the flipping K? I see no immediate danger. Move number 1. This is move number 2, move number 3. If I move my king here first, white can take the knight and mess up my pawns. Now, that's not the end of the world. That is actually not the end of the world. So I might even consider, being as I'm so calm and relaxed right now, I might even consider playing this. If he does this, I take back my king. Yeah, I mean, it's got some security. This move now comes with no threats at all. I just think h5. Nothing has to be done right now. I mean, I don't actually have to move this knight. This knight's not doing a bad job. You know, it's helping defend d4, for example. And we don't want his pawn to come to d4. Look at me channeling Grandmaster Naroditsky there, thinking about positional play. James would be proud. Oh! Okay, if he wants to displace my bishop, can my bishop come here? It can, really, to be honest. h5. Put the pressure straight back on him. Now, I had that move in my pocket. I knew it wasn't a mistake. I've done enough thinking to check that if c4 is played, that I can survive. Obviously, I can't come back here. Well, this and then takes... That's even not too bad. It's not too bad. I think about. But I do have this. Okay. Here, takes. King drops back. Or just this. This and open everything up. If my knight moves, this pawn might hang. That's the only issue. There, takes. Go on, drop it back. He might try this kind of shenanigans. But I can always still stick it back there. Undefended. Everything else is cool. So 15 plus 10, so we have an increment. That's a good thing. Means that whoever goes into the end game with an advantage should be able to win. If he does this, he just loses a pawn, I think. Takes. And then my king can still drop back here. Bishop drop back here. This rook's stuck. Interestingly, I'm going into a school tomorrow to teach them how to make fire. Man make fire. So this is part of my... You can check out my website, waybackskills.com. This is one of my business ventures. Do a lot of different things. A few weeks ago, I had a bloke up for a workshop making a didgeridoo. Oh, well, this move we did not expect, Precious. Okay, first thought is knight can go in the middle, right? Knight goes in middle here. Happy. Sticking it straight back on him. I've got 10. Now, what I need to do now is just not lose. That's the important thing. Okay, so he had to take, because I was threatening a fork on queen and rook there now. I have to take the knight. The question is, do I take with the bish? I take with the bish. He's almost certain to take because this bishop's undefended, right? Then I'm going to take here. Then there is a hanging pawn. If I take with the pawn, there is a hanging pawn. If I take with the pawn, it hampers this bishop. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make life harder for my opponent. Yes, he can grab this pawn. But the point is that here comes Harry. Okay. And now, actually, we could even pin this pawn here. Now, we have to say, is the b7 pawn going to be instrumental in who wins the chess game. I don't know. I mean, he could play this, but that's a bit one move-ish. Okay. H4. I'm just going to do it, throw it in. He can't come here. I could hit his queen. Notice this pawn is now not pinned because of this plug here. It's currently blocked. So if takes, he could take with F. He could take, okay, he's thrown in that, but I'm not bothered. Right, I'm not playing instantly because I just needed to check that he's got no good checks with the queen on the open E file. But this is all right. Here, F takes here, and we're threatening mate. Yeah, takes. So this pawn is gone. This pawn is gone. He's got a pawn on here. Oh, and yeah, we are. Queen threatening to take on H2 with mate. I think he needs to retreat that bishop before something unpleasant happens. I mean, I've even got this idea actually. And no, just pawn takes, and then his bishop's. I mean, his bishop's blocked in there anyway. His bishop's got his backup pawn, which is great. But this takes. Then he's got to lift a rook or lift a queen to defend the pawn. He can't move the pawn. He can't really move the king. Definitely can't move the king. I mean, technically, maybe I could go there. Then I've got push. He's down to 5 minutes though. 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Yeah, so the key here is to assure the win. That is our objective. Also, actually, if this pawn should disappear, I have a check. I've got a discovered check. If I take here and takes, I could throw in a discovered check anyway. Right, or then this, and then the discovered check. And then it's ouch. Very ouch. Takes, queen in here, and then up my sleeve I have this. I'm not worried about this move at all. I can just go straight there. Love long-range bishops. Okay, in here, threatening mate. So you've got to do something now. And if you put your rook there, my son, you're going to regret it. So you're going to have to block with your queen, actually. Then knight in. That's a third attacker. Even this guy's an attacker. Everyone's an attacker today. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And every one of them is involved in the attack. Whereas he has got this one sucking its thumb in the corner. Hasn't even woken up yet, snoozing. This bishop is looking entirely the wrong way. Okay. This is good move. He had to do that. He had to do that. Now I still ooh! Sorry. I hit the table, but d3. And I believe we win the queen. This is a double attack. This is a discovered attack with check, and the piece that is moving is also moving into an attack. Okay? Got lots and lots of examples of this. Lots of examples of this. Is there anything wrong with that? I can't see it, okay? He's in check. He has to get out of check. He can move the king there, in which point I take his queen with it, my pawn. The only other options are to block with a rook, in which case I take his queen. To block with a queen, in which case I take his queen. Or to block with a queen here, in which case I take his queen. I've exhausted all the possibilities, and I think we win game. Take queen, rook takes, defends this pawn, by the way, but doesn't defend it against this, the evil horse of doom. Unless he can checkmate me with a forcing sequence, he's finished. Hello, goodbye, you are finished. Okay, he can put his rook here or here to defend, but then I can take the pawn with the knight. I don't know. We are +5 in materials. Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? Oh, that's actually mate, because the rook's guarding f1. The theme is patience. Done it. I did it. I did it. Good game, good game, good game. Okay, now, before we analyze with machine, we analyze with human. Okay, I'm not even going to put the eval on. Should I put the eval on? No, let's tell the story of the game. Right, let's be organic. Okay, so here I'm trying to transpose into familiar territory because I'm an e4, e5 player. Okay, he doesn't do this. He goes, so this is the Black Mustang defense. And now he's sent it England-wise. And I can play this. All good. 4 knights, English opening 4 knights variation. Now he's preparing the kingside fianchetto. And so I develop because of this, right? Castles, develop other bishop, attacking undefended pawn, right? So now opponent has to do something, his hand is forced. Okay, he does this, fair enough. I get my queen off the back rank, okay, this is move 7. I'm now ready to castle on move 8, which is the quickest that you can complete development. Now, he gets tactical. He's tickling me with attacks. And this, I feel, was kind of critical point, really. Do we save the bishop? So I decided to save the bishop. I thought, I like this bishop. There are no closed files on the board. 0. Okay? And there's a light squared opportunity. Okay, he throws out the pawn. And here I decide to counterattack. But he finds the desperado. So he's saying, okay, I'm going to grab an extra pawn here, right? Because he's expecting me to recapture with queen, in which case he gets bishop, and he's got a kingside pawn majority. He's got 4 on 3 files, right? Here I gamble, and I recapture with the king, so that when pawn takes queen can recapture. And here my point is, actually, my king here is not in a huge danger, but I've got plans about, you know, sending Harry the hero in to save the day. And here we bring the rook over to the semi-open file with the intention of then hiding the king away. Knight retreats, unleashing the moderate power of this bishop because it is looking at a pawn. So king heads off to get his pipe and slippers, and now opponent starts a little bit of activity up the queen side, and I counter up the king side, sending Harry off to his doom. And here we decide, actually, this is not a threat, this is fine, and he attacks my knight. I move here. Oh, but Hunty, you've given up a pawn. Well, whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-diddly-doo. We lose the pawn. Now, here, this guy, Eddie, who now identifies as Dave, has blocked off this bishop, but also blocked off this bishop. However, what do you have to bear in mind? Eddie's mine, right? Eddie/Dave, he's mine. He's my pawn. If my opponent doesn't play the move d2 to d3, I can always renew the threat of this bishop and also open up my opponent's bishop at the same time, but that's under my control. Off you go, Harry. Heroic Harry saves the day, right? Now, opponent is, I mean, this is a bleh. It's like, yeah. Right, that's, I can't think of a move to play move. And a 4, and off goes Harry, right? Munch, 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 gobble, gobble, gobble. And here we have problem, because queen h3. Threatening mate in 1, okay, completely forcing. The only thing more forcing that is a check, right? Because you can ignore a mate in 1, to your peril, but... and now, obviously, he can't do this because of the discovery. But what... I mean, what else can he do? I mean, can he run... He could run away with the king? I take or discover check. I mean, it's unpleasant, but he should be thinking about this, right? Maybe. We'll find out. He blocks with queen because he's looking at this corner, and he's worried about this discovery. But he and I confess I didn't see this until there, and it's played, and that's the end. It's the end of all things now, right? In comes the knight, spiked trade, and resigns. Okay, so let's see how well we did. Place your bets. I'd like to think I got 80% on that. I'd like to think it was an 80. And the results are in, ladies and gentlemen. 74.9. Okay. Ooh, look. We had an advantage here and then blew it. Wow. No blunders, but 5 misses. 5 missed wins. Wow. Okay, strap in. Let's have a look. Okay, good book. Bookity book. Bookity book. Wow. Okay. Look at that. 6 book moves in an opening I haven't got the first idea about. Okay, so it says he's good. It's a quarter of a pawn difference, don't matter. Okay. Best. Good. We did consider moving the bishop here. It's marginal then. Ignore. That's a mistake. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't believe that move. This is miss. Bishop g4. Oh! Didn't even consider this. Right, forgot this pawn was pinned. Bishop here attacks queen. Now the e-pawn that can't move backwards, by the way. E-pawns can't move backwards. You should know this. Right? We attack queen. Driving queen to another square. Well, maybe it's better, yeah? Anyway, so, okay, here we're rolling the dice. And this is blunder. What, still bishop g4. Still bishop g4 is winning? Winning? Okay, show me. What? Hang on, are you saying that this... Okay, let's just say the queen goes here, okay? What did I miss here? Queen takes knight. Queen takes knight, king h1. Oh, okay. It's simpler than that. The point is simply this. We can move the bishop with a counterattack. That's it. We're getting out of this situation. So my opponent thought he was being clever because the bishop was on prise, okay? But this is what I missed. You can move the bishop with upping the danger levels, as Levy would say. Once the queen moves, you win the knight. We've won a piece. It's that simple. Okay. But this is not what we do. I do king take, missed win. Okay, got it. Basic tactical oversight on my part. Okay, queen takes is best. And let's go back to the analysis. I want to see where we are on the old chart. Sorry, review. Okay, where are we? Okay, so here it didn't like that. It's saying push Harry now. And yeah, there's a... I mean, you know, but this rook actually came in handy later on. Slightly. This, yeah, I didn't really get that. Another miss. Ooh. Why? I don't see that either. Anyway. That's a miss. Oh, preventing d4. Yeah, I mean, d4, I was always kind of expectant about that, but I thought, you know, we had plenty of cover. Okay. And now it says, though, you shouldn't be pushing Harry. You should get your king to safety. Dude, I'm on it, right? I'm on it. B6, like, very happy. B5, mistake. Knight A5 was missed. Huh. But hey. And we aren't concerned. H4 is a great move, and then it all falls apart. Yeah, that's just, like we say, meh move. Okay, king here. A4 is a mistake. That's a 5-point difference on that move right there. He had to push G4. The hell? G4. No human is gonna. What? Anyway. And then best move. Good, I'm happy. And oh dear. Rook F2 was best. Okay, so that's the thing. He had to give up the rook instead of the queen, right? I take rook, queen takes probably, and he lives to fight. At least the queen can try and trade off, but he's -9 now, right? And then that's just a great move, and oh the queen's pinned. The queen's pinned, man. I could just take the pawn, it's mate. Oh dear. Oh dear, that's next level sharpness. That I mean, look, the information's there on the board. The queen's, of course, the queen's pinned, right? All I thought about is, look, ooh, free queen. Oh my lord, the queen's pinned. She can't recapture the pawn. It's just making one. Beautiful. Anyway, that was fun. I've enjoyed myself. Hope you've enjoyed yourself too. Thanks for watching. See you soon.